let me just say something about the huddle really quick. When you in a huddle, usually it's just the quarterback, one player calling the plays. We got multiple quarterbacks in this huddle, and we calling all sorts of different plays.
Exactly.
Hey, the word of the day, man, is respect. If you don't got respect, you don't have nothing in this game, man. Respect, you can't buy it. I can't assign you respect. You gotta earn it. You gotta earn it. You want your name on the back of this jersey to mean something, you gotta earn that respect. You want these colors, these jerseys to mean something, you gotta earn that respect. Snap in, snap down. Every single time you step on this field, man.
I'm just ready to get this show on the road.
The catchphrase of all catchphrases.
Ladies and
We
gentlemen.
got a packed show today for you guys. We're going to kick it off straight from the fresh NBA playoffs that happened last night. One series wrapped up. One series is still going. We also will have Rob in here. He's got a show with us on WSUC. And he'll be in here shortly to talk about baseball.
You mean Robert?
Yeah, Robert.
Oh, I thought you said Robin.
Nah.
I'm like Batman coming too?
No, sir.
Batman and Robin.
Nah,
Speaking of the...
Big Rob's going to come in and talk baseball.
Oh, all right, cool. But yeah, he coming to talk baseball. Obviously, he's a baseball aficionado. I feel like hitting the lotto and getting up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the motto. I'm still back with the rapping, man. I put the rapping back.
Always rapping.
Always rapping on the mic. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we got a packed show like Kenny C said. We're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs. I'm giving our reactions on that. Obviously, some baseball talk. Tyron doing the Lakers falling off.
We got some Odell Beckham news.
We got some Odell Beckham, Cowboys news. Obviously, got players, approaching new contracts. So they're gonna have to spend some cash. Cowboys, especially if they want to win. We're going to get into that in the Huddle news, obviously. And some free agency predictions coming up towards the end of the show.
Big free agency predictions.
Kenny C's Corner of Hockey and Real Lil Boxing for this show season finale. But once again, before we start, the request line is 607-753-4819. Once again, 607-753-4819. Call up.
We
get
really
in the
want
huddle.
you guys to get in here because
Get in the huddle.
Usually we get a good amount of calls, but we need a lot tonight because it's the finale. We need people to call in, and we need to get this show live tonight.
You know what I mean? Call it up. Put it in your phone while you driving, while you going to the bar, while you in your car, whatever it is. Call us up right now, and let's get right into the huddle. Starting it off with the NBA playoffs. The Warriors
What happened last night?
defeated the Rockets 104-99 in a relatively competitive game, my friends. It was very competitive. It was entertaining.
Game 5 was big.
The Warriors, it's always a big game because, you tied up 2-2. Now,
this is
you go up
huge.
3-2, so all you got to do is win one more game. The other team got to win 2 more games. So it's just like the Rockets were down by like 20-something, came back, showed mental toughness, made it very interesting. I watched the entire game. I was entertained. I had me some pizza. I was starving. You know what I'm saying? I had to order me some.
This man's always talking food.
Always talking food, even when I'm not in the mood. I had to order me some pantanos, from Portland, pantanos. And then I was just over there eating my pantanos, my pizza, and just watching the game. And I was just like, wow. I was very entertained. But, KD is a story here.
This is the highlight of the game.
He left the game with what is said today. There was an MRI done, and it was known as a calf strain. At first, watching it at plain sight, knowing how he looked back, then how he turned
It
around,
looked like Kobe Bryant was
it
on
looked
the
like
court.
it looked like Achilles. It looked like the Achilles injury that obviously would have took him out for the year. I was like, oh no, the Warriors don't want that to happen. But the Warriors should be celebrating, even though he's not going to be back in this series because he could be back for the rest of the conference finals.
I mean,
now,
Game 6 and 7 are huge because this is sort of a left hook to the Warriors because you could easily make the case that KD is the best player on this team. All around, best player on the team.
Oh, yeah, he's the best player on the team.
And losing him and not having Boogie Cousins still,
Boogie down Cousins.
that's going to be big because the Warriors are going to have to adjust around that. And, for me, I think this is going to feed Harden. This is going to feed the beard. Instead of fearing the beard, it's going to feed the beard. He's going to go, I feel like he's going to go off in the next game, and the Rockets are going to feed off this energy of knowing that KD's not on the court, and I think they're going to win the next game.
Well,
I feel like they could tie it.
Piggybacking off of this game, Steph Curry showed up when he had to.
Yeah.
The first couple of quarters, I wasn't that impressed. Obviously, we all know what was going on with his wife. Obviously. If we don't know, I can refresh your memory. All right? She was on a talk show, and when she expressed it, how she, wants attention, and she feels the type of way when she doesn't get attention. I'm like, don't you have a husband? So it's going around in all types of, controversy. People's making memes. It's just crazy.
Well,
so Curry has to deal with that. And, I know he hears all of that. Obviously, social media gets around. And have it to, be in the mental position to play basketball. He got a big game. He didn't start off right. The first couple of quarters, he was relatively slow. But then when KD went down, he was like, listen, he showed us that he had to do what he had to do.
He has to lead.
He had to lead. That's who had
the leadership capabilities, and that's what happened. And even Clay balled out 27-4-1 in that game.
And
he was solid.
He came out of the gate swinging. He was making shots.
Yeah.
He was showing the definition of a splash brother, and then he went cold.
Yeah. So did.
But then he did what he had to do at the end.
If you look on the other side of the court, the fourth quarter for Harden, this man was a spirit. He was not seen on the court. He did nothing to help the Rockets, even though KD went down, and they had a perfect picture, a clear picture to winning this game. And Harden just disappeared. He was not playing. And it ultimately hurt the Rockets when you had on the other side, PJ Tucker, he played pretty well, 13-10-1, but overall, CP3 didn't really show up. He was 3 for 14 from the field.
CP3
Eric Gordon, fell off.
CP3, he needs to get it together.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him.
He held the ball for too long. James Harden is your guy. He's your MVP. He's the MVP of the league. He has to get more touches than what he had. CP3 controlled that ball in the fourth quarter. Obviously, it's good to know that a smart point guard with experience like CP3 has holds the ball. But if you're struggling and you got an MVP on the other side, you gotta get him the ball. He's a guy that can create foul shots like that. Get to the line.
Yeah, if you're a point guard, you're the facilitator of the court. You gotta get the ball to Harden, like you said. You're point scorer. You gotta get it to him. And I just feel like as a whole team effort, they sort of fell apart in the second half. And for guys to go ghost like that and just go off the map, you're not going to win the game. So
exactly.
I think they got to rebound big time, knowing that KD is out, and they need to get hyped up.
This is a perfect opportunity.
They got to get hyped up.
The Rockets was in the situation before last year. CP3 went down.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think, including myself, if CP3 was still playing, the Rockets would have been representing the rest in the championship, and we more than likely would have won against that, terrible Cavaliers team.
Oh, man.
So, now the fortune has changed, and the Warriors is dealing with injuries. It was the Rockets should have capitalized off that. Remember, They were down. They had the momentum. They took the lead. All the momentum was in their corner. All right, you got players on the other side. Remember the mental part of it. Oh, KD just went down. Everybody is shaking. They thinking it's Achilles injury before the word came out that it wasn't. So that's the moment where the Rockets should have just brought it to him.
Exactly.
Get to the foul line.
And if I'm the Rockets,
push the ball.
I don't care if it was his Achilles, if it was his if it was his butt. I don't know. I don't care what the injury is.
Or if his stomach had the chilies or whatever.
I don't care what the injury is. I'm focusing on the fact that he's not in the game, so I'm going to capitalize on that. And they fell apart. I think that also has to do with the coach, too. The coach, you got to call a timeout and get these boys back, because Harden, like I said, was transparent in the fourth.
Yeah.
He was see-through.
Come on, man. This guy, I don't think it was relatively his fault to a certain degree, because, CP3, like I said, got to shit a rock. Got to shit a rock. But, Stephen Curry, he showed up when he had to. Because at the end of the day, if it wasn't Steph, I don't know where it was going to come from. The Warriors are struggling as far as depth. They don't have a lot of depth. So KD going down, and obviously Draymond Green fouled out.
Yeah.
It presented a lot of depth problems for the Warriors.
Exactly. That's another thing. Draymond fouled out, and they still didn't take it. So, my thing here is, when you go to the Rockets, right?
PJ Tucker obviously continues to play good. You know, be that driven force to get you rebounds. He just had 10 rebounds last night.
Yeah.
Look at Eric Gordon, solid shooter. He can get hot, he can get cold,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes he won't be old. You look at James Harden, 31 points. You have to feed James Harden the rock.
Yeah,
he had
balling the whole
31
game.
points.
He was balling out.
Iman Shumpert is making open shots too. That's a guy that I wasn't a big fan of his shooting. We always knew Iman bring you the defense. All right?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
you offensively,
You know he could lock up.
offensively you're like, eh. Sometimes he can get
Yeah,
hot,
sometimes
sometimes
he's
not.
on.
More than times not.
Mhm.
But he's starting to hit open shots, and I guess it's because of the system that he's in and how they are 3-point shooting friendly.
Yeah.
He's able to make shots. Austin Rivers is giving them valuable minutes. I don't know what the hell he was doing, scoring only 2 points last night, but he normally gives them valuable shooting.
A big thing, Lil, like, going off what you said about the whole depth thing with the Warriors, Iggy has stepped up. Iguodala has been pretty solid in the series.
Yeah.
He went 11-4-5 last night, and from what I've seen from Iggy, he's been a solid force for the Warriors, and I think that definitely contributes to the fact that they're up in this series.
And now dealing with this Warriors injury, because that's where the KD injury, that's where everybody, that's where all the talk is. Now, he's not going to be back in the series. So, do you think how much of an impact is this going to have on the series? Talk to me, Kenny C. Talk to me, Kenny C.
Lil, this is a huge impact because for a guy that was dropping 30-plus points and dishing out like 6-7 assists plus, I mean, like, he's second best in the world, and in this playoff series, he's been electric for them. But honestly, I feel like Curry and Clay have been in adversity situations before, and I feel like just them two alone, they're going to have enough leadership to most likely help this team overcome the Rockets. But it's going to be tough because the Rockets, like I said, are definitely going to feed off the fact that KD's out.
And to me, you see, what the Warriors got to do is go back to playing the basketball that they played before KD went over there.
Mm-hmm.
This was a 72-win team. Obviously, the bench is not as solid as it was when they won those games, right? You don't have those faces.
Yeah.
But the experience within Steph, Clay, Draymond, Iggy,
Exactly.
Sean Livingston probably have to step up from the bench. They got to make use of it. Obviously, tomorrow I believe they play the Rockets on the road, Game 6. I believe the Rockets win that game solidly.
Yeah,
I think they win that game
I
solidly.
think if they feed off the energy that, like I said, that KD's
There's
not
no way in
there,
the world they supposed
you
to
gotta
lose that
win it.
game at
You have
home
to.
without KD. I think the Rockets win that game.
And I'll tell you this, Harden needs to play the entire game. He can't disappear in the fourth when he's needed the most.
Of course, if they
And
lose, they go
CP3
home.
as well. CP3's got to step it up.
He needs a good game. So I think the Rockets will win that game at home in Game 6. And then it will set us up for a nice Game 7 shootout. Because that's exactly what it's going to be. And I do believe that the Warriors have a good chance of winning that game. And I do believe the Rockets have a good chance of winning that game too. So remember, that Game 7 with Cleveland and Warriors in the finals. How iconic that Game 7 was.
Yeah.
You think that was iconic? And nothing could compare to that. But this game 7, if there is a Game 7, because the Warriors could surprise all of us and go out there and win on the road. It's not impossible. I just don't think it's going to happen. But if it sets up a Game 7, it's going to be an excellent Game 7 worth everybody's attention.
100%.
So that's my thoughts on KD. Once again, it was a calf injury. It's not an Achilles injury. I don't know how much time he's going to miss. More than likely, probably be back in the Western Conference Finals. But he is out for this series. And the Warriors got to go back to playing official Warriors basketball. Stephen Curry cannot disappear. Klay Thompson cannot disappear. Draymond Green has to continue to do what he has to do.
Yeah, and I don't believe they will. I believe that they're gonna have their heads in the game because these guys are pure athletes, man.
Because it's like, it reminds me.
They're gonna stay in it.
With all these Warriors injuries right now. All right, and you can talk the same thing about the Yankees, because we're going to talk about the Yankees in a few minutes as our guest just came up in here, Robert. It's like, with all these injuries, almost like the Avengers, where, you remember with the, oh my gosh, when they had the 5 little things.
Yeah, the 5.
The 5 rings, whatever we call it, the stones. And at the end of the Infinity Wars, everybody started disappearing. Like everybody was just done. Like now you had to just figure it out what you had and stuff like that. It's almost like that. Everybody
that's
just
true.
they disappearing. Like Boogie just KD just all right. And the Yankees, the bullpen. I mean, oh my gosh, like what's going on?
The offense is completely diminished, but not really. Their all-stars have been diminished, but the team has been great from what happened.
But nevertheless, this has been a great series so far.
Oh yeah,
it lived up to the hype, and guess what? It's not over. It's not over.
Oh sir.
But moving on to the next game here, the Celtics. Before we go on a commercial break and talk some baseball, the Celtics lose the series to the Bucks, 4-1.
Yeah.
Have we seen the last of Kyrie in Boston?
I believe so. Unless, like I was telling you earlier, I read from another article, unless they could pull in guys to make Kyrie want to stay, like AD, Anthony Davis, if they could attract him. Other than that, I think this man wants out. We saw what happened with the media and whatnot in Boston. I feel like this guy just wants a fresh start and he wants to get out of there.
I mean, to me, and listen, like I said, I like watching Kyrie Irving play. He's a very fun player to watch. His handles is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it's something to say about this guy's attitude. This guy's always having an attitude. He never handles the media conglomerate well. You know, it's just like he seems like he's not a good leader. When I watched this Celtics team throughout this whole year, I felt like it was Kyrie in his own space. It wasn't Kyrie and the Celtics. It wasn't them together. It was just Kyrie being Kyrie, doing Kyrie things.
It was him carrying
it was just
him.
him.
For the most part.
It was just basically him just being him and not really... We didn't see that chemistry with the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I never felt that chemistry with the team. Except for, like, once they had that little thing in front of the crowd when Kyrie was like, oh, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to resign here. And that was the only time I saw them sitting together.
It fell apart from there.
It fell apart from there.
I feel like guys at different times stepped up. Like, sometimes you had Jaylen Brown playing well for them. Other times it was Tatum. I feel like it was never all of them in sync together, performing at a high level.
And this is a team.
And we saw it in this series.
And this is a team with high expectations since the conclusion of last season.
Yeah.
People already stamped it. You know, Celtics in the finals. You even had guys like Jay Williams saying that the Celtics was going to win the championship.
Yeah.
So, like, they really fell short of expectations, and I blame it on poor egos. All right? A lot of egos. A lot. Guys wanting because you got to, when you're dealing with over-talented roster, which the Celtics have, you got guys that want the rock. You got guys that want their minutes. And when they do get their minutes, they want the ball. They want to shoot. You have guys that has poor leadership, such as Kyrie Irving. Terrible leadership. So you got the combination of all that.
Yeah,
he
really isn't that type of player. That's why when he was with LeBron, it was LeBron that was the leader. And then Kyrie obviously had huge moments and stepped up for the Cavs. But yeah, I feel like he doesn't possess that leadership quality.
He don't.
Enough. Like,
and
he's got to change that around or just go to a team where he doesn't have to be that leader. Because I feel like a lot of people, including Celtics fans, were looking at Kyrie to be that guy, you know, and he's not really that Jordan guy.
He's not
that's
a number one guy.
your team.
Exactly. Excellent point right there. I was just about to bring that up. He's not a number one guy. He's not a guy that can lead your team. He is a Robin. He's not a Batman. All right? You got to leave it to the Batman who's a bad man, okay? This guy's a Robin. This guy's a number two. You know, he's a solid number two. You know, he's a little bit... You have players in the NBA that's your number one and number two. Some number twos have a little bit more talent than a number two, but they still a number two. He's probably one of those guys that have a little bit more...
Like you have Harden and CP3.
Exactly. So, obviously, CP3 will never be a number one. And I think that ship has sailed, okay?
That's
but when you look at this, when you look at Kyrie, he has to accept the fact that he's a number two. Right? Obviously, with the Celtics, he was the leader. But obviously, he can't lead by example. Yeah. He showed us that, you know? And
I mean, look at the playoffs. He was pretty much non-existent in game 2.
Oh, yeah, exactly. This whole round.
9 points and 5 rebounds in the second game.
This whole round, he was non-existent.
They fell apart.
He only scored 15 points. That was about it.
Their best game was game 1, and that's only because they were able to limit Tecumpo, and then the rest of the Bucks didn't really perform that game. But once Bledsoe and Middleton got their stuff going, it was over.
Exactly. Middleton is a very, he had a very key role in that series, making shots. The Bucks has been a good team all year. They lost in one game, but they got it together.
Yeah.
And, it make people like Paul Pierce look retarded for saying that, they were going to get swept.
They shut it down.
Basically, the Celtics got swept outside of that first game.
Yeah, they basically did.
So, one thing
the Bucks look scary, man.
They do. And to finish what I got to say about the Celtics, I knew it wasn't going to work. We have a guy in Kyrie Irving that's an ISO player, right? He's an ISO point guard. He's not one of those point guards that facilitates. He's an ISO. He creates his own shot. And then you got people like Tatum, who's an ISO player in himself too. He models his game like Kobe Bryant. So he needs the ball. So you got an ISO point guard, and then you got a guy like Tatum, who's like a Kobe Bryant type of guy who creates his own shot. Then it's like, how in the world, offensively, are they going to come together as a team? That's why Tatum was struggling this round. When Kyrie wasn't there, the Celtics performed better. Anytime Kyrie was not on the court, the Celtics played better basketball.
Because you know what it is? I feel like when Kyrie was on the court, he tried to be that leader. He tried to take control and take over, and it ultimately hurt the rest of the team. The rest of the starters did not perform as well as they would have if he was not there.
And that's because he's ball dominant. He's ball dominant. He's ISO.
He is.
So at the same time, not to diminish what Kyrie brings to the table, but it's just not a good fit over there with the Celtics.
Yeah, I think the ship is sailed with Boston. And have you ever heard of a team called the New York Knicks?
Oh, trust me, I heard of him. I don't even want to hear about them right now because they've
feel
been
like
getting me tight.
They need to start making moves.
Did I hear about the Knicks? They're the reason for my anxiety attacks. All right, the Knicks.
And we'll get into that more later on.
But Terry Rozier made some
100%.
comments. He made some comments today, which is very true. Outside of the cussing.
Scary Terry?
Yeah, Scary Terry. No Katy Perry. I mean, he was like, I don't give a, you know what? I sacrifice the most out of anybody. Which is exactly true. We have to think about the sacrifices that a lot of these players on the Celtics had to make. Scary Terry, no Katy Perry, was the ideal person that made the most sacrifices because, he's a capable starter at a point guard position.
He is.
And once Kyrie came,
that bench spot.
Exactly. Once Kyrie came, he had to take a back seat. Like he said, it was going from the front seat to the trunk.
Yeah.
It's basically what it was. So,
and then another thing too, I feel like since the injury, Gordon Hayward has never been the same.
This guy needs to find his legs.
He fell off.
He needs to find his legs.
He legit fell off. This was supposed to be the newest big thing in the Celtics franchise, and he was supposed to be like that piece that could get them far in the playoffs. And since they freak injury, obviously it's going to impact him immensely, but he's got to find a way to rebound off that and try to be that player he once was.
And get his legs back.
Exactly.
And then try to find, something. So, what are the chances that AD gets traded to the Celtics and plays with Kyrie? Because obviously, the talk about Kyrie is leaving. And ultimately, I do think he's going to leave. Where? Find out in the later part of the show. Because we're going to be having our free agency prediction. But what are the chances Kyrie stays and AD gets traded over there? Because you got to realize, Celtics has the assets. That's where the assets is. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, honestly, that would be obviously a big piece for the Celtics, and that could definitely help them out because it's Anthony Davis. But they definitely have to give up some of their young guys. Maybe talk about Tatum or Scary Terry potentially in the trade, or maybe Al Horford, the big man, to replace and put in AD in his place. But as far as that goes, like you said, I think we both agree that the ship is sailed for Kyrie. But what are your thoughts
it's possible. It's possible. I think Kyrie's done, but let's say he doesn't. Let's say he's not done, and he stays. Then, obviously, him and Tatum don't play well together. So even though Tatum is a young player with a huge upside, he fell off a little bit from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah.
So it makes my job as a general manager here more easier when it comes to potentially trading him. Because before, after the year that he had last year, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to lose an asset like that.
Yeah.
But after seeing this year, it makes my job a little bit more easy. So you trade Tatum, probably maybe Brown, or Terry Rozier
That's what I'm saying.
for a AD, then that would be ideal. And then you pair up AD with Kyrie,
Exactly.
and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. You really never know. I mean, me and you obviously both know how much Kyrie has stressed the fact that he's kind of does not want to be there anymore.
And his body language shows that he doesn't want to be there. I mean, you look at his body language, even at the media conference after the game. He answered one question partly, and then he left. Like, his body language
I feel like
is
he's
not.
just done.
He's
just done with the city.
basically.
And he's done with the team.
Because look. I mean, you have different forms of communication, right? We all know that. You got the verbal and you got the non-verbal.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, he communicated to us non-verbally that he doesn't want to be with the Celtics anymore. But what are the chances, all right, that he leaves? Let us know. And, I dropped a free agency poll last night on Instagram. And I was like, where Kyrie will end up in 2019 via free agency? Is it going to be the Lakers? Is it going to be the Nets? Is it going to be the Celtics? Is it going to be the Knicks? And number one, which came in number one place based on the people that followed me on the gram who voted. Well, I'm going to go with number 4. Number 4 is Celtics, right? So obviously that's the last choice on the list. Most people think he's not going to resign with the Celtics. That came in number 4.
Yeah.
Number 3 was the New York Knicks. That came in 3rd place. Number 2 was the Nets. And number 1 was the Lakers. I'm a little shocked by that. I'm a little shocked with the Lakers.
We got a lot to talk about the Lakers later.
Oh yeah, we got a lot.
That's gonna be big.
So a lot of people think the Lakers. I mean, which I think, will he really seriously consider going back to play with LeBron James after he left LeBron James? I don't know about that. I think that's retarded. In my opinion.
607-753-4819.
Once again,
Call it up.
607-753-4819.
We want to hear what you guys think.
I mean, this is the
Central New York.
season finale.
Get in the huddle.
Get in the huddle. When we come back, we got some baseball talk. Don't go
to
nowhere.
say it, but Hill seems to be in some
Oh,
trouble.
yeah, he's in a lot of trouble.
He is in a lot of trouble. I have seen
So,
that.
I don't know if this brother will ever play in the league again.
First of all, we already know about his. I don't know if y'all know, but I know about his domestic violence dispute in Oklahoma State.
Wasn't he abusing his child
He was
too?
abusing his child. This dude is doing all sorts of
Ridiculous.
things. I mean, this dude is abusing his children. This dude is abusing women. I mean, this type of character cannot be in the NFL. I don't care how good your talent is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Lil.
If Colin Kaepernick can take a knee, you cannot tell me this brother should be out here abusing people.
He should have a shot.
And you think about that for the Chiefs. Like, if Tyreek Hill goes, if he's found guilty of all these things he's been accused of, which
They say that the charges is
That
dropped.
folds their offense.
Ladies and gentlemen, just to let y'all know, we are back in the huddle. 607-753-4819 is the request line. Once again, 607-753-4819 is the request line. Call up, get in the huddle. And before we move on to this baseball talk, I just want to let the Central New Yorkers and the people listening know that there is no such thing as co-vice presidents. I just wanted to let people know that. Have you ever heard something called co-vice president? I never heard of it in my life, but it's something that just ran over my mind. I don't know why, because I heard something about a vice and a co-vice president. I mean, listen,
Lil had something on his mind.
I had something on my mind. I had to get it off.
Kenny C, the real Lil, and we got Rob here. We're gonna talk some straight up baseball. New York Yankees. How we looking, Rob?
listen, tonight's not looking too bad. You've got J Happ on the mound for the Yanks tonight, and he's been taken out of the game since, but
He went 5 innings.
Yeah, five shutout
That's
innings,
solid.
just one hit, one of his best starts of the year. I'm pretty happy with how he's pitched so far. 7
strikeouts.
Yeah, definitely a solid day today, and the base runners he's had today have been mostly umpiring, like mishaps, just bad strike zones, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he's pitching well, and the bullpen should lock it down. The Yankees should take this series. That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, and I like the way that Happ, like you said, that Happ has been able to rebound and have a good game today, because the whole season he's been, a little bit shaky. 1-3 record. His ERA is not too solid, 4.93. So that's definitely a good sign.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is last year, J Happ made the All-Star team when he was on the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
But his first few starts last year are very similar to his first few this year. They're kind of shaky, not really the pitcher he's able to be. Right, but he's gotten into his rhythm now. His last few starts have been pretty solid. He's been pitching better,
Definitely.
we're starting to get back to that J Happ that came in on the Yankees and was 9-1 in the second half after being traded from the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
And that's the pitcher we really need him to be with Paxton out now.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, that's a big loss.
What are your thoughts on the performance last night? Obviously, the Mariners won 10-1, but you had a little controversy going on with Yusek Kaduchi, whatever his name is.
Oh, the left-hander.
Yeah, with the substance.
For the Mariners.
I do have an opinion on it, and at first I was a little bit frustrated with how it was pretty blatant that he had the substance on the bill of his cap.
Exactly.
And it's most likely pine tar, but there has been discussion among hitters and pitchers alike, and the hitters have made their voice known that if a foreign substance, such as pine tar or whatever else a pitcher might think to use, if that helps the pitcher get more control on their pitches, it makes it a safer experience for the hitter, and they would rather let them use the substance than not and have the ball be more out of control and make the game unsafe.
Now here's the question: do you agree with that, or do you believe they shouldn't be able to use the substance?
I think if they're going to use the substance, that that MLB should make a statement and just make it legal.
Yeah.
And not make it, because they didn't make a move on it, and they're not taking action, even though there's evidence against Kikuchki from last night. But it's just a matter of if it's making the game safer. It's the same thing. The MLB for the longest time turned a blind eye to steroid usage and PED usage in the bigs, and they let it go for the longest time because it prevented injuries, keeps people's muscles in shape, they're able to sustain injuries and play longer, have longer careers. So they did turn a blind eye to PED usage of the same thing. It's a similar trend. Pitchers are more effective, they're more controlled, and it does make the game safer. And but batters are more worried about safety, I would say, than
when you
then the
when you think
question
about
comes-
it, the rules are the rules.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm
the
saying.
integrity of the game
Yeah.
then gets questioned
Because the
does that give them
MLB
an edge?
exactly, because the MLB the rules is you're not allowed to have a foreign substance. So even if it works in a pitcher's benefit
So yeah,
and a batter's benefit, then at the same time the rules are the rules.
I guess Rob said, Commissioner Manfred just needs to come out with a statement and either make it legal or ban it. Or keep it banned like it is.
Right,
Exactly.
and if they really had an issue with it, and when I say if they had an issue with it, I mean MLB, the commissioner's office, that kind of thing. If they had a real issue with it, they would have taken Kuchki out of they could have taken him out of the game. He would not have finished the game last night if they'd cared about it. If they didn't want him to have it, they would have said something. There was a clear picture of him having a substance on the bill of his cap, and he touched his hat every time he threw a pitch.
Yeah.
So
I mean, then you can make the argument too, though, because, I'm pretty sure batters aren't allowed to use it as well, right? For their bats, are they allowed to?
Pine tar I believe, is legal for bats.
It is?
I don't. Yeah, most batters, I don't know how much of it they would use. I think batting gloves are more of the way people go nowadays. But the reason the Yankees lost last night is honestly Yusei Kikuchki. He pitched a great game. You can't deny he
He's a
pitched.
solid left.
He went 7.2 innings of a 3-hit ball. This guy was.
He was lights out.
Yeah.
But the reason
it helps when you had pine tar.
the Yankees pitching was non-existent last night. The Yankees
apart.
had Jonathan Loaizaga on the mound, who has had limited AAA experience.
Yeah.
He's pitched mostly AA. He's a young kid. He has good stuff. His stuff is nasty, but he's not big league ready.
Yeah, exactly.
He's filling in because James Paxton is out, so he'll get probably 2 or 3 more starts in Paxton's spot, and you really need you need there to be some help for him, because he's really not going to have a ridiculous amount of. He's not going to be able to be a star for the Yankees this year. He needs time to develop, and he's just not ready.
And when you think about it, also with the Yankees, the problem with them is their injuries. We all know the injury bug hit them. Obviously, there's no timetable for return with Aaron Judge and John Carlos Stanton, but Aaron Hicks is expected to be back this week. Next week.
That's definitely a big plus.
So
because even though Mike Tauchman, I don't know how to say it.
It is Talkman.
He's played pretty exceptional for the Yankees. Over the span of
the
past few games.
I would have to disagree.
You don't think so?
I would have to. He had
you don't
one.
Think so?
For me, I've watched the majority of the games, and for me, Mike Talkman has been lackluster at best.
So never mind.
For me, I saw him.
Then I'd say Clint Frazier.
Bring the debate.
Bring the
debate.
So
Frazier's definitely been
Clint
Bring the
Frazier.
debate.
Big step
Clint
up.
Frazier joined the injured list. The parade of Yankees onto the injured list. But the thing is with Clint Frazier is before he went on the IL, he was raking. He's hitting like 350. He was like leading the league in average. Like he was going crazy. Like he was out of this world before he went on the IL, and he's gonna pick up right where he left off. I have no doubt. Yeah. But now we're in the point for the Yankees where they had 13, 14 people in the IL, and now we're turning it back around. We're starting to get people back. We've got Gary Sanchez back, who is without a doubt, in my mind, the best catcher in baseball. You've got Aaron Hicks coming back next week, who is like arguably the second best center fielder in the American League, behind none other than Mike Trout. Like
with Sanchez, I feel like he definitely has the best throwing arm, but I feel like his defensive catching has been a little lazy. We saw it last season,
So it does. So the thing is with the pass balls, and people want to be upset about pass balls, and I can understand being upset about pass balls, but when you look at the big picture, you look at the stats. Gary Sanchez last year was his worst season defensively that he's ever had, and he was still middle of the road in defensive runs saved for catchers, and the next best hitting catcher in the league. Now, last year, Gary was not the best hitting catcher because of his average, but this season he is. And the next best hitting catcher is JT Realmuto, and his defensive runs saved is second to last out of starting catchers, out of eligible catchers.
Let me ask you a question, because me and Kenny C touched on it last week. Of how impressed are you with Luke Voigt?
I am impressed beyond belief with Luke Voigt. Because when we traded for him,
it was an
he was nobody. He was nobody.
You
traded nothing for him. You gave up Chase and Shreve and Giovanni Gallegos, which is they weren't good. They were lower end bullpen guys. They weren't really going to pan out. Chase and Shreve was in the Yankees bullpen purely because he's a lefty. So when you take a look at what Luke Voigt did last year and what he's done this year, his on-base percentage almost 400,
and it's, even from opening day,
opening day, first
impact.
at bat, 3-run home run. Exactly. He's like, I'm here, I'm not a fluke, I'm back right where we need to be.
As of late, he actually has like a .878 on base percentage.
The OBP?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, OPS,
yeah.
And he scored a home run last night, I believe.
10 home runs in the season.
He scored the only home run yesterday for the Yankees, I believe.
Yeah.
So
He's definitely been electrifying for the Yankees,
and offensively,
they've needed every bit of production he's given them, especially with these injuries. And without Judge last year for a time, and now they're not going to have Judge for a time this season. You look at not having Judge and Voigt stepping up and hitting a home run, it felt like every other day last season. He was just unreal.
So let me ask you another question. So, all right, so the Yankees, we all know when it comes to, for majority, when it comes to these low-ranked baseball teams, it's not as good. They seem to have that under lock for the most part. When it comes to against the Astros or these competitive teams, they still haven't got that niche yet. They haven't figured it out. Do you believe it's because of the injuries have a big part to do with it, or do you believe that's just how they are? And what do you think?
So let me say first that the Astros series that they got swept in Houston by the Astros. Now the first two games of that series were winnable games, and honestly they could have won any of the three games. And I'll tell you this: the first game they got to Justin Verlander. And they got to Justin Verlander, and for the Yankees, when he's been on the Astros, he has shut them down and has not been pretty.
Right.
And the same thing with Garrett Cole. They both shut the Yankees down, and the Yankees got to both of them, and their bullpen, which is supposed to be the best in the league, blew the games. And the bullpen has been the least plagued by injuries. The only one who's out is Betances. And Betances, don't get me wrong.
Severino.
Severino, you've got in the rotation you're missing. But, you know...
you talking about... Like,
I'm just talking straight bullpen.
and stuff.
Yeah, just relievers. Straight up bullpen right now. Man, Betances is huge, but you have really good relievers still. Britton's supposed to be solid. Ottavino's supposed to be solid.
Chapman.
Chapman, right. And they just didn't have it for those games. And they almost came back in the third game from down 7-2. And, you know, the bullpen really let them down those 3 games. So, do injuries have a part in them losing to better teams? Of course they do. You're playing with a half AAA roster.
Yeah.
But if those games were winnable. So, it's frustrating still, but I think
the Yankees is in a good position with their record despite the injury.
Absolutely.
They beat the Twins in the last series.
21-15 with an injury depleted roster to me sets them up for a good, at least a momentum. When these guys start coming back, they could gain momentum. Mm-hmm. That's why they got the Rays series coming up again.
Yeah, the Rays series is going to be huge. If the Yankees, I don't know if it's a 3 or 4 game set, but if it is a 4-game set against the Rays, they need to take 3 out of 4, and it
looks like it's a 3-game.
It's a 3-game set.
It's
huge for the Yankees. Need to take at worst 2 out of 3. And, it's going to be a tough series, don't get me wrong. The Rays have been playing great baseball.
Yes,
but the Yankees are getting people back. They got to have that fire running. They got to win these games. Because they could, if they sweep the Rays, they'll be in first place if they win. If they can hold on tonight. Mm-hmm. So that is all you can ask for if you're the Yankees. I mean, the Rays are going to be tough, but they can do it.
Another thing, in terms of the Yankees infield, we saw Gio Urshela was lighting it up for them. For the most part, he was pretty solid, and now we have Andujar back playing at third base tonight. Do you believe they should let it rock with Andujar or keep Urshela in, who's been on a good streak?
Well, tonight Urshela's out because he fouled the ball off of his knee, I believe, the other day.
Wow.
So he's okay. The X-rays came back negative, so he'll be back in the lineup tomorrow, most likely.
These guys find a way to get injured, man.
Can't catch a break, man.
Can't catch a break, man.
But the thing is with Andujar, he hasn't found his stroke yet at the plate.
Yeah.
He's been struggling at the plate so far this season, and also Urshela has been hitting better than he ever has in his career.
Yeah.
And not even close. Like his career
incredible.
batting average, including this season, is 240, and with the Yankees he's hitting 360.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
if he can keep up and be a 270, 280 hitter, because you don't expect him to hit 360. That's kind of ridiculous. But if he can
finish out with that.
Right, if he can continue to hit 270, 280 as like an average point, like he's gonna have to be in that lineup because he's making moves happen with that.
Oh yeah.
And right now, this game against the Mariners is at the bottom of the 7th. The Yankees lead that game 1-0. So hopefully they can hold out and win this game and get ready for that hard series against the Tampa Bay Rays coming up. But moving on to the Mets here, I want to talk some Mets before we end this first half. The New York Mets. Let's touch upon them right now. Obviously, they have a lot of issues right now. Offensively,
they fell off a little bit.
Offensively, they have been struggling as of late. The game yesterday, they had 2 home runs in like the first couple of innings.
Yeah.
And they went cold. This was a team that offensively they had a 9-4 start.
Yeah, their offense was definitely.
They had a 9-4 start while averaging
season.
6 runs per game, 6.2 runs per game. But obviously, things are not working with the Mets.
No, not at all. And the biggest thing is the bullpen. We said that every single week.
Yeah.
They just lost Mats to the 10-day DL. So it seems like with injuries for the Mets, they can't catch a break with the bullpen. And overall, their bullpen just hasn't been able to perform at all. And I feel like they need to change something. They either need to get more outside pitching help and go after Dallas Keuchel or, Craig Kimbrell, or they need to maybe get rid of their coaching.
I mean,
Because their
on the
coaching
road,
staff has been a problem for the Mets.
exactly that, and on the road they've been terrible. They've been 1-5 on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that cannot happen. And I think that the leaders like Robinson Cano needs to step up.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he has to be that guy because that's basically the leader. So you have to lead in times like this when the Mets is below 500.
And Rob, how do you feel that the Mets could turn it around
So
this season?
listen, the Mets rotation is scary. It is really looking sharp. You've got DeGrom on and you've got Syndergaard
We have
on.
a caller
We
right
have a
now.
caller.
You've got some craziness going on with that. So, you know,
We're in the huddle.
you just want to see from a from a standpoint with the Mets. You got Pete
We
Alonso.
just got cut off. We just got caught off with the
Whoever
with the
just
caller.
called, please call back.
Yeah,
Excuse
we
me,
got
Rob.
caught off.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Rob.
so the Mets have Pete Alonso,
Oh yeah.
and he's their hitter right now. And when I say hitter, I mean they don't really have much of a lineup going for them right
Yeah.
now. And you know, this is the problem with the Mets last year because their rotation was incredible, but they had no lineup. And you know, you traded for Edwin Diaz and Robinson Cano to fill in the two biggest problems the Mets have. Their bullpen wasn't that great last season. Their rotation was good. Their bullpen not so much, and their lineup sucked. So they really
Exactly.
just really needed somebody to pull up to this lineup and make something happen. You know.
Yeah.
So you know,
I mean, yeah, they had like you said, last season 0 offense. This season, earlier it was much better than
they
it was
was
last season.
Bro, it
they
offensively
were on fire
and
to
before
start.
when you think about it, it was the pitching that carried them.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden
completely flopped.
it flopped. But right now, like I said, with the bullpen and everything,
the
and we
caller
got
is
a
back.
caller
we
again.
got our caller still coming in here. I mean, listen. When
Hello, you in the huddle?
let's hear what the caller has to say here in a minute.
It's Sal from Queens. I wanted to make a comment on the Mets.
This is Sal from Queens.
I wanted to mention, I actually had a question for you. I want to know if you think you should be more concerned with this inconsistent pitching, which seems to be righting the ship, or this lineup, which was hot to start the year, but now all of a sudden it starts to cool off and the shoe is going back to 2018.
So the question was, should we be more concerned with their inconsistent hitting or with the pitching staff, correct? You said with the pitching staff?
Now, but started out kind of shaky,
Mm-hmm.
or the lineup who seemed to do the opposite, which was started out hot and now they seem kind of cooled off.
I mean, from what I've seen of the Mets, honestly, I think what I've seen with the Mets, honestly, it's been mostly the lineup that's the issue because their pitching will come around. You've got Edwin Diaz; he was the best closer in baseball last year, and you've got DeGrom and Syndergaard, along with Wheeler, and that's a strong 1-2-3 for the rotation. I mean, I don't worry about that rotation when it comes down to it.
Yeah. And
No, I agree with you. I think the rotation is more important, and I think we have more reliability with the rotation, and we just need the bat to come alive. I have another question for you. Who do you think would be the biggest threat right now in the NL East? That'd have to be the Phillies, right? Because they seem like everything's clicking for them right now.
Yeah, when I look at the NL East, what I see is I see the Nationals aren't looking that solid. They're kind of struggling right now.
Phillies got an excellent team.
Yeah, the Phillies
got an
the Phillies look like they've got it they got it going on right now. The Braves, I think they peaked early last year. I think they were a team that wasn't expected to be good, but they started to get good quick, and they were able to make things happen that people weren't expecting from them. They won the division. I don't think the Nationals and Braves are really going to make a run at the division this year. I think the team to beat is the Phillies right now. They look really strong.
And I also.
Do you think we have a chance of beating the Phillies, or we're looking like a wild card team? Because I know in the NL there's so many other teams that are so good in other divisions that might need a wild card for themselves. So do you think we'll be able to stay afloat long enough to where if the Phillies do pull away, we'll actually be looking at the wild card spot? Because, I mean, we haven't been able to make the playoffs since the 1 year we went to the postseason.
Yeah.
And once the World Series, I'm just looking forward to finally have a season where we can be proud of. Because I think by us making the trade for Cano, it kind of showed that we're all in for this to happen sooner rather than later because we have to get out our whole farm system. So I'm just looking forward to finally having something come more recently than later.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that could actually be happening, or do you think we're actually going to have to waste more time rebuilding this?
I mean, overall, Sal, I feel like Rob said, if they can get the bat swinging again, and like Brandon Nemo, if he can get out of that slump because he's got like a 150 batting
it's
average.
like Finding Nemo.
They gotta bring the lineup back to life, and if they could do that, I think their bullpen, they're gonna rebound and they're gonna be okay. Obviously, Matz is on the DL now, but I believe he'll be back. And like Rob said, if they can get the lineup going and the bat swing again, I think that they have a good shot because they're only a few games out from the Phillies right now.
The pitching will get better, in my opinion, with the ground.
Yeah, pitching can always get better for the
pitching
Mets.
can always get better. Because the Mets, that's what they're known for, is the pitching. So with that being said, I believe that they can get better.
Yeah, so I definitely feel that the New York Mets could end up taking down the Phillies in the long run if they can get the lineup to be consistent.
Okay.
And we lost the call. Sal from Queens, shout out to you. Thank you for calling in.
Queens.
Thank you for calling in.
And we appreciate the input for the
call.
Huddle.
I'm a Yankees fan, but I also my family's big Mets fans as well, and we might as well go Mets. I'd like to see them take down the Phillies.
I'd love to see a Subway Series.
I'd like to see that.
Exactly.
That'd be huge, man. That'd be a fun series to watch for sure.
Exactly.
For sure.
100%.
607-753-4819 is the request line. Once again, 607-753-4819 is the request line. It looks like we reached the end of our first half.
Shout out to Sal from Queens again. Thank you.
Shout out to Sal. But when we come back, we about to go the extra mile.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you for joining us
today.
Thank
you, Rob, for joining us with the baseball. This is our baseball aficionado over here. So, obviously, this is the season finale. So, when we do come back next semester, obviously, baseball is going to be at its peak because the playoffs are going to be soon approaching when we come back in September.
We're gonna have plenty to say about baseball when we come back.
For y'all baseball fans.
I appreciate you guys having me on the show again.
Oh, no problem.
It's been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure. And it's been a pleasure working with you with the draft too. So we definitely
100%. That was a big episode.
Man. Fun stuff. And we'll have football coming up quick when we come back too. So all kinds of good stuff happening.
All right, Central New York, call us up. We'll be back in the next couple of minutes. You in the huddle.
Allegedly sued Lesnar and the UFC because apparently they knew about his steroid use. I mean, you take a look at Brock Lesnar stepping on the scale before that Mark Hunt fight at UFC 200. That was back before it was supposed to be John Jones and Daniel Cormier 2, the original rematch. Jones popped up for a substance. They canceled out the fight. They basically brought in Brock Lesnar for UFC 200 to make it a big deal because the UFC 100s, it's like the anniversary, UFC 100, UFC 200, obviously UFC 300. UFC 300 will be a big deal. So they brought in Brock Lesnar. Look at the UFC 200 ad. They bring in Brock Lesnar at the end of the video. Are you ready? And it's like Brock Lesnar's come back and he fights Mark Hunt, and he got the fight after a 3-round decision. But I mean, you take a look at the size. There's no way that man was 265 pounds going in on that scale. He looked around 315. The man is a monster. He's clearly taking substances. I mean, he's factually taking substances. He got popped.
Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, the Huddle, the real Lil, Kenny C.
You already know where we be. In the booth, telling the truth. Let's get it. 607-753-4819.
More
Once
callers.
again,
We need some more callers.
607-753-4819. Time for hour number 2. Y'all know what we do.
WSUC 90.5 FM, The Dragon. And we are back.
And it's time for our famous In the Huddle news. Starting with number 1. Let's go.
The first thing we have today is Ziggy Ansah signed with the Seattle Seahawks on a 1-year deal. I do believe he is still injured, and I think it could take time for him to return. But I believe he will be good for the preseason with Seattle. So that's big for them. I feel like he'll definitely help to bolster up their defense.
Yeah, because
who, by the way, lost 2 big players
they
today.
Definitely did, and they need to beef up that defense. especially
Oh,
if they
yeah.
want to help Russell Wilson out. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
listen, man, they lost Frank Clark. Today they lost Cam Chancellor, and on the offense, Doug Baldwin, who with those injuries could be facing retirement pretty soon. But the next thing here, big news, Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals quarterback, signs a full 4-year, $35 million deal.
With a 5th-year option.
5th-year option. Big news for Cards fans.
I
They'll
mean,
have this man locked down for a few years.
let the Kyler Murray era begin.
Let it begin. What we got next, Lil?
And number 3, in the Huddle news, we have Benjamin Watson, who intends to unretire. And actually, he has unretired. The report is that he signed with the Patriots today. So, kind of, when I made this stat, it was actually, talks. But I believe, as of a couple hours ago,
he did meet with them, right?
he's planning to sign with the Patriots.
Oh, wow.
So, obviously,
That's a big thing for them.
the Gronkster, the monster, has retired. And Tom Brady needs some more weapons. Obviously, N'Keal Harry, wide receiver, they drafted from Arizona State. But you still need to fulfill that tight end position. Obviously, Benjamin Watson is an older tight end. Not going to be nowhere near Gronk.
Hey,
But at the end of the day, he could do a little something.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to bring as much party as Gronk did. But the veteran talent definitely clicks
Like
with
us.
Tom Brady, who's a veteran.
He was on the Patriots before. So he's familiar with the Patriot
And
way.
Belichick.
And
Exactly.
Belichick. So, to me, something that they had to do. Especially because they didn't get the Gronk successor in the draft. Get somebody familiar with the offense, familiar with the organization, and guess what? We don't even got to be patient. Keep it moving.
What do we got next?
Number 4, the Freak, Ezekiel Elliot, is set to pay for the funeral of Jalen McKenzie, an 8th grade football star with college offers from University of Missouri, Illinois University, who was shot and killed at a party.
Wow.
I touched up on it on this topic on the Real Lil Show season finale, which took place on Monday. Ezekiel Elliott, shout out to you. I believe that this is a good move, helping somebody out, a football star who lost their life tragically. Obviously, with funerals come expenses, and especially funerals are very expensive. So for Ezekiel Elliott to reach out to help pay for the funeral shows who he is as a person. And I commend Ezekiel Elliott for this because this boy had a lot of potential.
And rest in peace to that young man.
He had a lot of
100%.
offers. As an 8th grader, he was an 8th grader. So
That's crazy.
the future was there. He wanted to play for the Chiefs, I believe, or no, he wanted to play for the Raiders or the Chargers. That was his goals. He couldn't, obviously fulfill it. But shout out to Zeke for taking on that responsibility and helping pay for the funeral. So that's it for
That's
our
all
In the
for
Huddle
Huddle
news. And it's time to get into our next topic, which is the Lakers and Tyron Lue ending talks without a deal. So now, this is, oh my gosh. I feel like the Lakers is just bad news waiting to happen. Anytime there's always something negative with the Lakers. It's this and that. It's the firing of Luke Walton. It's LeBron James not being a leader.
Lord.
It's Ray John Rondo sitting with fans. It's what else? Come on.
The protests now
The
by the
protests
fans.
right now.
Outside the
coaches
Staples Center.
not even want to go there. Free agency, AD rumors not happening. Nobody want to play in Space Jam with LeBron James.
Magic steps down.
Oh my gosh.
Lil, LA, it's Hollywood. You said this weeks ago. LA is Hollywood, and it brings nothing but drama to a
Drama
sports
for
team
your mama.
like the Lakers.
Oh my god.
I don't know what's going on with them, but what should we break down first?
I want to talk about Tyron Lue first because, obviously LeBron James is still there. We definitely gonna get into LeBron James because he might not be there for long.
Yeah.
Possibly. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But LeBron James for right now is there. And you want to get a guy that LeBron James is familiar with, who Tyron Lue is with LeBron James. Tyron Lue and LeBron James obviously won the championship together, bringing the 40-year drought to an end in Cleveland when they won the championship. And also they went to the championship together last year when they got smoked by Golden State like it was a daggone barbecue. But you see, to not get this deal done, to me, it sucks because you lost out on Monty Williams. Signed with the Suns. All right, he's off the table. Tyron Lue to me was literally that should have been that option. Like I said, him and LeBron James get along. He's a very coach friendly player. Guys in the league seems to get along with him. He was a former player himself.
Oh, yeah.
So the bringing a guy like that would have did well for well, at least would have been like something for the Lakers to like. All right, let's see. Even though we all know the everything that's going on.
Yeah, and I mean, if they end up somehow getting Tyron Lewis to come through and sign with them,
I think that should be
as the
settled.
coach,
I think that should
because
should
if they were able to do that, he, like you said, he has a history with LeBron. They got along for the most part with the Cavs. They won a chip, right, together.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they were somehow able to rope him in, maybe he'd be able to settle LeBron down. And I don't know. I feel like that he can only do so much, but that whole organization is going through turmoil right now. If you're having your own fans turn backs on you and protest outside the stadium, something has to change.
I mean, I would too as an LA fan.
Yeah.
I mean, everything the Lakers has done is a disaster.
Hey, I'm surprised Knicks fans aren't outside the Garden.
Exactly.
The thing that
Oh
the
my
Knicks have
gosh.
done, man. Forget it.
I mean, the LA Lakers, the LA mistakers. I mean, they make a mistake after mistake. I mean, come on. I mean, look. Tyron Lue, obviously the contracts didn't go well because, they offered him a 5-year deal, but they wanted to appoint his assistants. For example, I think they wanted Jason Kidd to be assistant coach, and Ty Lue wanted to appoint his own assistants because he's a coach that's he wanted to pick his own team.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lakers wanted to do that. Everything fell, and now they are interviewing Frank Vogel for a head coach vacancy. I don't like Frank Vogel and LeBron James together. I don't think that's a good combination.
I don't even know who that man is.
Yeah, I don't even look. To me, that's a bad combination. So, look, man, the Lakers, they just got to get it together, man. I mean, I understand why the fans want to protest. I mean, come on. You think about diehard Lakers fans that are there, that have to deal with this nonsense every single day. There's always something with the Lakers. All right, from management, because they have a displeasure with the LA front office.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why. Everything with the Lakers is just terrible.
I feel
You got fans protesting now. I mean, come on.
Yeah. One thing that was really shocking for me was Magic. I didn't expect him to step down. That was a little shocking to me. I feel like he should have maybe tried to take more charge and try to help lead the organization.
I talked about it on the Real
I
Little
feel like
Show.
he just backed out.
I talked about it on the Real Little Show. I said, I'm not mad at him stepping down. I just thought he could have communicated with his team and
Exactly.
LeBron James, especially, who
Yeah.
you recruited, even though he probably already had his mind set on going there. But, Magic Johnson was the icing on the cake. Should have let him know. But, man, the Lakers got all sorts of issues right now. And as a free agent, man, do you really want to go into this mess as a free agent when you have LA Clippers on the other side? I mean,
Hey,
basically on the other side of the locker room,
if
doing good and having max cap space. They made the playoffs as an 8 seed. Gave the Warriors a one for their money.
for me, man, if I don't even know who the head coach is, I'm steering clear of LA right now.
Exactly.
If I'm KD, I'm not going there. KD, if you somehow listening, do not go
I
to the
don't
Lakers,
think
man.
KD has anything to do with the Los Angeles Lakers, and then I would be shocked.
I don't
if
think
he
he
do.
should at all because they're just a total mess, and I am eager to see what they do, to put parts together and change that around. Because they gotta find a way to get that team back to the playoffs.
But with the Lakers, obviously, the talks is what, there's a lot of talks of what to do with LeBron James.
Yeah.
Should we trade LeBron James? That's the talk. And, at some point, obviously, it has to be under highly consideration. Because LeBron James with those young guys is not going to cut it. It's not going to cut the piece of the pie. All right? Max players do not seem like they want to go over there. The best thing for the Lakers, to me, that's more realistic, possibly, is having a second-tier free agent such as a Kemba, Jimmy Butler, probably, or Tobias Harris, maybe, possibly a Clay. But now there's reports that if Clay do leave the Warriors, it'll be more likely for the Clippers. So guys are turning their head away from the Lakers. All right. If I was a recruit, I'm not even giving the LA Lakers a visit.
I mean, if I'm a player, why am I gonna go there when LeBron tried to sell out his own teammates? You know what I mean? Like, just to try to get AD to come there, he tried to sell out all his teammates. Like, if I have a lot of talent, yes, Kyrie or yes, Kyrie too, but KD and LeBron, that would be like crazy to watch. But if I'm a big star, I'm steering clear out of there just because of LeBron. Like, that doesn't show good, sportsmanship and that he's a good teammate if he's trying to sell you out.
And on top of that, man, let's get to the point here with this Knicks, because the Knicks is
Here it
obviously
is.
being brought up with LeBron
We've been
James.
dying to talk about
Yeah,
this.
the Knicks has been. Oh, we got
caller,
another caller.
ladies and gentlemen.
We're on the road today.
And I'll have Leo answer this right now.
Hello, you in the huddle?
Hey, what's going on, boys? It's Sal from Queens, man. I got disconnected.
It's Sal from Queens, baby. He's back.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. How's everything
Big
going?
Sal from Queens.
It's going good, man. I wanted to talk. I just listened to what you were saying now. I hear you talking about the Knicks and stuff, man. I can talk for days about the Knicks.
Yes.
And he's about to talk about the New York Knicks, ladies and gents.
Well, it wasn't a rumor, but it was a possibility that people were saying we should trade the first, or second, or third pick, whatever we end up getting, to the Lakers with a package deal for LeBron.
We were about to talk about that.
All three of them to come in, which I think would be. I love LeBron, but I think that would be a terrible decision because Kevin Durant already said he doesn't want to play with LeBron James. So imagine how toxic he thinks it would be in New York. What do you think about
So
it?
that's a hot take, Sal.
I think
that's a hot take.
I mean, I see where Sal's coming from, but I say this: when you're dealing with the Knicks, right? Zion Williamson, we all know his potential. We know the potential is there, but we haven't seen him in the NBA yet. So when you get a LeBron James, a guy like LeBron James, yes, he's 38. Obviously he's going to be on the decline, but to me, he's still a top 3 player in the league, probably top 2, and some argue he's still the best. So to get a guy like that, LeBron James, to come over there and then possibly try, maybe Kyrie wants to rejoin him again, maybe, or maybe KD really do want to play with LeBron James in the Knicks. When you think about it, LeBron James and KD on the Knicks, that would be a good move. So, yeah, it's dicey. Zion Williamson could turn out to be the next Jordan, which I don't think it's gonna be that. I don't think it's gonna go that deep. But yeah,
Lil, you can keep him on speaker if you want.
I totally agree. But I don't know. I would do it. LeBron James, trading him for Zion. Obviously, the ping pong table's got to land for the Knicks right now, and that's the thing that's getting me nervous because the Knicks could end up being the number 2, getting the number 2 pick or the 3. Obviously, if they get number 2, Ja Morant to me is probably going to be the guy. But then the Suns, if the Suns get the number 1 pick, they have been linked to Ja Morant. So the best case scenario for the Knicks is to get number 1 or have the Suns be the number 1 pick because the Suns has interest in Ja Morant over Zion. So the Knicks don't want to be below number 2 in my opinion. So obviously the ping pong tables got to fall into place, and then the Knicks got to get Zion. And I believe that if the Knicks get Zion, they could either do three things. They could use Zion for leverage by possibly getting an AD, trade with the Pelicans to get AD over there, and then maybe you get Kyrie over there that probably will play with AD or possibly KD. Or you could trade Zion for LeBron and try to see if somebody else will follow, or you could keep Zion.
And Leo, let me ask Sal something real quick. So Sal, if you're the Knicks and you get Zion Williamson number 1, what are you doing with Zion? Are you keeping him or are you trading him?
Yeah, man. Well, Anthony Davis, he's such a proven commodity, man. He's top. I think he's top 3, top 4 in basketball.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's not getting any younger, and Zion is still 18. And
Very true.
I think at Zion's top potential, if he reaches that, obviously any rookie's always going to be a crapshoot because you never know how they're going to turn out. But
Exactly.
this guy looks like such a proven commodity already, and he's already going to be so good coming out. Honestly, if we're able to get the number 1 pick and keep Zion and draft Zion, I'd keep him and roll the dice with KD and Kyrie coming here.
Oh, wow.
Because I feel like Anthony Davis is already a proven all-star. He's already been an all-star game MVP. I think that he's going to want more attention on being the star.
Yeah.
Opposed to if we kept Zion, I feel like he'd work better. He works better off the ball. He works better without the ball in his hands.
That's very
People
true.
give him credit for. So maybe him coming into a role where he's not going to have to be the number 1 star on the team could make him even better of a player because he can learn how to play off the ball, set screens, set pick and rolls for Kevin Durant and Kyrie, and
having a point guard like Kyrie with, I think, the best handle in basketball,
Oh,
and
yeah.
a scorer who I think is the best scorer maybe of all time, and Kevin Durant, to go next to a guy like Zion, they can only make him better than what we already saw out of him. And I really think from that point on that if we can mold him, even if they don't stay long term, if we lose Kyrie or KD down the line, but we lock up Zion for 15 plus years, and he's our player, like he's our Jordan, like you said, he's our forever guy, then I think down the line, even if we don't win a championship with KD and Kyrie, Zion's going to eventually get there, and he's going to make other big stars want to come play with him.
And I honestly, I could definitely agree with that because, like you said, if we're able to get that pick and get Zion, I say, you know, if we're not getting any offers from the Lakers, I say let it rock and see how Zion does in the league. And like you said, you know, maybe some of these guys like KD and Kyrie will say, oh, I want to play with this guy. He's the next big thing. So I definitely agree, and I can see where you're coming from.
I will also say this. I would say, do you think KD and Kyrie will actually fit together? Do you think that will work? Because Kyrie, and I talked about it earlier on the show, he's an ISO player. So it didn't work with the Celtics because you got, you know, Jason Tatum that's more Kobe-like. So, you know, he needs the ball in his hands. So with a guy like Kyrie as your point guard being an ISO player, that didn't work. That's why Tatum struggled this year with Kyrie being there. And we saw when Kyrie wasn't there, Tatum was at his best. Do you think Kyrie can fit with Kevin Durant?
You know what? That's a really good point, bro, because I was talking to one of my buddies at work today, and he's a big Lakers fan. And, you know, he follows basketball. We were talking, and that's a really good point that you bring up because Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are very similar. I'm not trying to say Kyrie's overrated because I don't think that at all. Kyrie's top 2, top 3 point guards in the league. But the way that Kyrie plays his game is so similar to Kevin Durant where he wants to be that assassin. And that worked so well with LeBron James when he won the championship. And I feel like all the skill that comes with LeBron, all the skill that comes with Kyrie, you kind of overlook the fact that when you think about how that team was built in Cleveland when they won the championship that year, is that it was LeBron distributing the ball. And yeah, LeBron takes over and does his thing, but LeBron's so not afraid to pass the ball. And when it comes to Durant, when you look at him in Golden State, the reason they've had so much success is because, yeah, they have an all-star team, but the way that Curry distributes and finds the open man in Kevin Durant, and Curry's such a threat by himself that he's able to get the ball to KD for KD to operate. I don't know. I want to believe it because I'm a Knicks fan, and I feel like the two of them could be lethal, and like you can never have too much star power. But when you really break it down, I really feel like part of me feels like Kevin Durant is always going to want the ball in his hands. And as we learned from Kyrie leaving, which he should, because Kevin Durant, in my opinion, is the best player on the planet. And when you look at Kyrie, the way he always wants to take that last shot and how he's so clutch, and he also is so clutch, but you got to have a little bit of hesitation when it comes to that last second shot. There's only one of them to take it. You know, you can't have both of them taking it, and you don't want anybody feeling like it's not my team. But the way that Kyrie bounced off LeBron was definitely, I don't think it'll have the same effect that Kevin Durant has because no matter what, LeBron is LeBron. LeBron plays best when he has shooters on the perimeter and people around him that can score, that he can dish the ball to. But Kevin Durant wasn't really big on his assists. I mean, he's all around amazing, but he's not known to be a pass-first kind of guy or I'm going to set my teams up. He's like, I'm going to go down there, shoot the ball over you, and drain it in your face because I'm that good. And you don't want to have Kyrie in a situation where he's not happy or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I will also say this real quick. I feel like it's more, it could possibly work because these guys are friends, and I feel like because you friends and you have a building commodity off the court, you're more willing to make it work. Such as Russell Westbrook and PG-13. They were playing together the first year. I thought that was a terrible experiment. Paul George didn't seem like he was getting his, but obviously that friendship they was able to build, and I believe that Paul George was able to fit with Russell Westbrook even better this year. So I believe the fact that they are friends possibly could make it work because they could build the relationship off the court, and then sometimes it could translate on the court.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Chemistry is very important, especially in basketball when you're on playing offense and defense together. That's the only sport where you're really doing that with your whole team playing offense and defense with them. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, I totally agree with what you're saying, and I feel like KD and Kyrie are friends, and their chemistry, they've said it, but the rumors, I don't know if they've said it specifically, but the rumors have been speculated all over the place that they want to play together, and that Kevin Durant wants to leave the Warriors to fix his legacy because he doesn't want to be known as the guy that just went out and bought his rings, because he joined the super team. And Kyrie wants to be a guy that can go out there and do it. I think he always feels like he can't do it without LeBron now, since he only won with LeBron when he came back, and now he hasn't had much success since then. And LeBron beat him last year in Game 7. I feel like he kind of has that chip on his shoulder too. So maybe Kevin Durant and Kyrie will be able to get it to go. But I got another question for you guys. Do you think that Kevin Durant already announced he's not going to play the rest of this series against Houston? Do you think that this series is so? Do you think that this whole NBA Golden State's going to win the championship thought process from the beginning of the year is in jeopardy right now? And if you do think so, do you think it'd be better off for the Knicks to land Kevin Durant if he wins or if they don't win?
I would say this. They chances are a little bit more in jeopardy because obviously when you have a guy like KD, that was a safe haven. That was a guy when Curry and Klay Thompson was struggling, you know you could count on KD. So obviously it hurts their chances a little bit more than if he was there. But this was a team that won 73-win season before he came over there. They have the experience with Steph and Klay. Draymond Green is their heart and soul. So I believe they can get past this series with the Rockets without KD, because obviously he's not going to be there. I believe they lose on Friday on the road, and I believe that at home in a Game 7 with Steph, he needs to show up. I believe he possibly will. And Draymond Green will always show up, I believe, as far as, he doesn't do the glamorous things, but the rebounds, the intensity, getting guys in check. I believe they can win this series without KD. But as far as the championship, no.
You don't think they can catch Milwaukee or Toronto? Well, Toronto's losing right now at half by double digits, so that might be a series again. We might have a series opening up for Game 7. But, I still think Toronto's going to take that series. Mm-hmm. But as a Knicks fan, I think the best thing that could happen for the Knicks fans and people that want Kevin Durant to come to New York, the best thing that could happen for my dream situation is KD is shut down for the rest of the playoffs. He don't play. And Steph and Klay go out there and win. Like you said, I don't think they're going to win Game 6. I don't think they're going to win it. I think it's pretty much already chalked up.
Yeah.
But you can never count them out. But I think Houston's going to come out hungry and ready to go because they know KD's not playing. So I think Game 6 is going to go to Houston. I think this series is going to go 7. I agree with you. I think Golden State's going to win it in 7. But the best scenario for me is that KD, he's having a phenomenal, historic playoffs run this year. He's averaging these playoffs the amount as Michael Jordan has for the most ever in a single postseason. But if he doesn't play, and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Draymond Green and those boys that won their championship before he got there, that first time, if they show up, and they make everybody realize that this is still their team, and they go all the way without Kevin Durant, and they're able to go into Milwaukee and beat them, or whoever it is, and win, and just say they're able to win. It's like Steph catches fire and realizes it's his team, and the fan base starts to idolize Steph Curry, and Steph Curry wins the Finals MVP. I think that would be the last thing Kevin Durant would want, because his whole image is that this is still Steph's team no matter what he does.
He wants to be the star.
After a historic playoff run that he's had, one little injury that's taken him out, all of a sudden, all the credit goes back to Steph, which I think will make a lot of the people in the league be like, you don't need Kevin Durant. Like, he's not the guy that won you this championship. You could win without him. It's not his team. He doesn't make an impact. But it's why I make him want to go to a team like the Knicks, where he wants to have the thought process of the fans. Like, this guy came here and took a team that won 17 games last year and took them to Eastern Conference Finals and got it done with him and another guy that he brought in here because it's his team. That's what I'm hoping for. I hate Golden State. I'm not even a big Kevin Durant fan. I'm a LeBron guy. I don't even like Kevin Durant, but trust me, if he's on the Knicks, I'm buying his jersey the first day it comes out because I know how good he is.
And honestly, in a perfect world, all of that would happen, and KD wouldn't return, and the Warriors would win it.
But we don't live in a perfect world.
But unfortunately,
because business is dirty, business is evil, business corruption, and business is greatness at the same time. So I totally agree with you, Sal, but we kind of got to move on right now. We got other callers, and we got to finish the show. But I thank you for your takes. I thank you for your takes. Once again, with the Knicks, we hope they get it right this time. It's been so long with the New York Knicks. And we out here as Knicks fans, we are praying, we are hoping. We have our fingers crossed, especially starting with the lottery next Tuesday. It all starts with the lottery. And then we'll see what happens.
Love the show. Be good, all
right? Thank you very much, Sal.
Okay, so to wrap up things before we go on a commercial break and move on to the next topic, as we was all touching, man, with the Knicks, man, with the Knicks come headaches, okay? Because obviously we don't know how Kyrie and KD is going to work together because they haven't played together. These are ball dominant dudes, especially Kyrie being an ISO player. However, if I'm the Knicks and I have an opportunity to sign these two cats, I will do just that because the Knicks has to start somewhere. All right, they have to. They at least have to take that risk. To me, I like Kyrie and KD better than I did Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo. You know, so at the end of the day, it may not work, but it's an experiment. Not all experiments work, but it's some experiments that are worth it.
Yeah, and Leo, I definitely agree, and I feel like overall, time tells all. So we really just gotta wait and see what happens with the New York Knicks. But we really gotta move on to our next topic.
Oh yeah, we'll come back from a commercial break because it's about time. It's 30 minutes. We'll come back from a very short commercial break.
Gentlemen,
in 2 minutes. We'll be back.
9:30.
With the team aspect, I do. I think players, their natural instinct is to listen. I want to play. I want to win a national chip. But when's the last time we've seen someone like Zion? I mean, Zion has always been ever since high school into college. It's always been Zion is bigger than college basketball. This guy is a freak of nature.
How tall is he? 6'7"?
What is he? 6'7",
Yeah.
200?
60?
He's
I mean,
big.
it's unbelievable.
When have we seen this
I mean,
size?
the man he's so
It's
strong.
ridiculous.
He's ripping out of shoes. I mean,
Exactly.
When's the last time we've seen this? And if you're Zion's, is he an agent already? He definitely has.
Yeah,
He definitely has to have an agent.
Yes. His agent is definitely in his ear. He wants him to hang him up. But I mean, listen, I hope to see more of him because I love watching him play. But this man is a future in the NBA. He's got a shoe deal waiting for him. He's got a lot of things on the horizon. Is he bigger than this college basketball scene? Maybe.
Honestly, and I definitely agree with that because, honestly, if he
didn't have to play, if the one and done rule wasn't in play, he would have went straight.
Oh,
to
he would
NBA
have
from
already
high
been
school.
gone.
Alright, the video is on. I'm about to just fade this out and let's go.
Okay. Tighten the bolts. Line up the flushing valve.
Central New York. We all back in the huddle, and it's
Oh, yeah.
time to move on to the next couple of topics. Talking the Cowboys here. We gotta talk the Cowboys, man. We know the Cowboys are America's team.
Cowboys.
They're America's. It's like their daddy's favorite son. You know how the dad has his favorite son? That's America's team, the
It
Dallas
is.
Cowboys. Even though sometimes I consider them America's bums because they haven't did nothing in a minute,
Whoa.
and everything they do sometimes could be an utterly disaster. But they still are
Excuse me,
America's
calling
team.
them out.
They still are America's team, and trust me, not trying to play or hate on the Cowboys, but they do have a good team that's going to be making a lot of noise come this season. But with a good team, with a championship level team, comes highly much responsibility. And speaking of responsibility, guys got to get their paychecks. Guys ain't gonna be playing football for free now.
Who's gonna be getting what here?
Who's going to be getting what? As we all know, Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper contracts are expiring after this 2019 season concludes. And you also got Ezekiel Elliot, whose contract will be expiring at the end of 2020 season. So all three of these guys, that are their vocal points, they leaders, need contract extensions, and they need their money. So, Kenny C, with these three guys that got to be paid, are you worried at all for the Cowboys in these signings? Because obviously they're gonna have to. I don't know, but guys gonna have to take pay cuts. What are your thoughts on this? Are you worried for the Cowboys?
The biggest thing for me is the fact that Dak Prescott, his deal's running out. I believe 2021 it expires, that could be Ezekiel Elliot. Let me check really quick. I had it down here. I'm trying to find it right now. I believe it was. Yeah, I think it's Zeke that runs out 2021. But I think they're talking
2020.
2020.
2020.
Then one of them's 2021. But overall, Dak Prescott, he wants a big deal. I did read that Jerry Jones said he's our guy. He's our quarterback. He's been here 4 years in the league. He's used to stuff. He's definitely gotten his rhythm down with the team. Overall, he probably wants a lot of money, and if I'm the Cowboys, his rookie deal is running out. But if I'm the Cowboys, I got to make space for Zeke because Zeke brings the cereal and puts it in the bowl and eats every game.
But I would
that
say
man is a beast.
Dak Prescott, they have to have their quarterback. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of Dak Prescott, I think at times Dak Prescott could be overrated, and at times I like what he brings to the table. He's not the most consistent in the pocket thrower. You know, he can make plays when necessary, but with the way how the quarterback market is and guys are getting paid, Dak Prescott is going to have a big contract, even though he's not on the level per se as a Drew Brees, as a Russell Wilson,
I don't know, because,
as a Tom Brady.
Because Jerry Jones was saying we definitely want him long term, but we don't know how much money we can give him.
I mean, what they going to do? They want, who's their quarterback?
Honestly,
if it's not Dak Prescott.
As solid as Dak is, the thing is that people fail to realize. You look at the numbers like through the seasons that he's been with them. The Cowboys are a very run-oriented team. They only really utilize Dak Prescott for short throws. It's been proven that this man can't throw the deep ball.
And we know it.
He can't
Trust
throw
me,
the deep ball.
I agree with everything you're saying, except that they need a quarterback.
No, they do.
So
100%.
I believe Ezekiel Elliott is the number one option on that team. Ain't no doubt about it.
You gotta pay him too.
He's the guy that the offense runs through. You run through Ezekiel, and it makes it easier for Dak Prescott. When Ezekiel Elliott is going, Dak Prescott is going.
Exactly.
But at the same time, this is the
hand.
deal that the Cowboys need to make because they need themselves a quarterback. So right now they're
gonna make, like you said,
they're
gonna
negotiate.
pay this man.
They're gonna negotiate. I believe they're negotiating a $30 million deal.
Yeah, I read something like $29 million a year projected they could give him.
You know, I think it's worth it. Obviously, I'm not saying this guy
not a bad deal.
is a Tom Brady in the making. Hell no. Who are we kidding here? But at the same time, he's a quarterback that a lot of teams wish they had. You know, he's a decent quarterback. Yeah, he had a good. I mean, this is a couple years ago, but that playoff game against the Packers 2 years ago, I believe it was, or something to that degree. When they were in the divisional round. That was an excellent game from Dak Prescott.
It was.
So he has moments. He's not always consistent.
And that's the biggest thing, like you said, is the consistency. Because it's been proven that Dak's accuracy was in question. Dak's deep ball is definitely in question. His hesitation to throw the ball and load up on a deep play is in question. And the fact that every time there's pressure, he seems to panic a little bit and want to tuck the ball and go. That's why they use him for, a lot of play-action plays to fool defenses. But there's only so long that you can fool an NFL defense. They pretty much know that the ball's going to Zeke most of the time. So I feel, even though they're going to pay this man, they have to start developing him more and getting him more involved in the offense as a quarterback.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I mean, obviously he needs to improve as a quarterback. But I don't know how necessarily if they could pay all these three guys. Obviously, they want to keep they cap space at a certain minimum. They don't want to go over the cap.
You said they have to pay Cooper too?
They got to pay Cooper. They wide receiver. They number one wide receiver. And obviously, Cooper, he was a big part of that Cowboys franchise last year. When Cooper came in there, that was a whole different Cowboys franchise. They were 2-3 without him. And I believe when he came, that's when they went on the little, they won a couple games and then he was able to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, these are 3 of the guys where the offense, that's your number one wide receiver, your number one running back, and your number one quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think these guys are willing to take any pay cuts. All these guys is going to want pays or going to want to get paid. But at the same time, you got to ask yourself, do you want to be paid or do you want to win a championship? Because the Cowboys, if they re-sign all these players, we already know about the defensive line, which improved tremendously last year. We already know about their offensive line. The Cowboys have a team, and you remember, Jason Witten came back. That's veteran leadership over there. I know this dude is slow as a beetle, but he could cut through the needle when he needs to.
He's reliable.
So, he's reliable, exactly. So, the Cowboys, to me, have a team that can actually win a Super Bowl and could be one of the favorites.
Wow.
But some guys are going to have to make sacrifices. Look at Tom Brady, the golden boy, the golden child, the best quarterback to ever play the game. He takes pay cuts because he wants the team to be, well organized, because obviously the Patriots don't like paying people. So he takes his pay cuts. It improves the roster. It allows Bill Belichick to add to the team. And guess what they do? They win Super Bowls. If Dak Prescott or any of these guys are not willing to take a little pay cut, then hey, at the end of the day, you might not win yourself a championship. You know, sacrifices take other sacrifices. And then you see the results after the sacrifices at the end of the day. Kenny C, you up in Cortland. You in this radio booth right now. I'm up in this radio booth right now. That's a sacrifice.
It is, man.
All right?
We're
It's
out
a
here
sacrifice.
putting in the work after the work.
Exactly.
We love what we do.
What we was doing
Love what we
2
do.
weeks ago. We was in the huddle. We got in this radio station at 6 o'clock. We didn't leave till it was 12 o'clock. When the Wolves start to woo! What is that?
100%,
A
man.
sacrifice.
And ladies and gents, I just want you to know, me and Leo put in a lot of time, a lot of hours into prepping for these shows, and we hope that we bring you guys the best quality that there is for a student-run radio show.
Exactly. Sacrifices. You feel me? That's what it is. So we'll see when it comes to this Cowboys team. I like this Cowboys team, even though I don't like it because they fans all crazy. My dad is a Cowboys fan. I got to deal with that all the time. My brother is a Cowboys fan. I got to deal with that all the time. Uncle Joey the Dodo, he's a Cowboys fan. I got to deal with that all the time. I mean, not Uncle Joe. My other uncle. You know, Uncle Charles. He's a Cowboys fan. I got to deal with that all the time. It's Cowboys fans all around me.
Yeah,
but at the
my
same
best friend's
time,
a Cowboy fan.
I know talent when talent is there. And the Cowboys have a lot of talent on that team. And they have their eyes set on making a deep playoff run come next season.
Yeah.
But obviously, it starts with financially. What can they do? What guys are willing to take or not
We'll
take?
have to see how Jerry wants to break it down.
We'll see. But moving on to OBJ, because he
baby.
had some interesting comments. You know, he said that he plans on playing with the Browns for the next 5 years and turning the Browns into the New England Patriots. What do you make of his comments, Kenny C? Talk to me, Kenny C.
Right.
Talk to me.
Odell.
It's the season finale, Kenny C.
Odell, you got to simmer down a little bit, my man. Simmer it down. While there is a lot of optimism and there's great things coming for Browns fans and for that organization, you guys got a lot to prove. I'm going to just throw this out there. I don't want to throw negative energy. What happens if an injury occurs? There's big things that go along with statements like that. You got to see how this season right here is the experiment. It's the little, you know, the project that has to be put into motion. Depending on how this season goes, is going to determine that quote-unquote wanted to become a dynasty like the Patriots. So in my opinion, OBJ's got to simmer it down, and they got to see how Baker adjusts with his new weapons. Obviously, you got Landry, and you got OBJ and Antonio Callaway for wide receivers, Nick Chubb. They also have Hunt. I don't even know if he'll play. It's a project, and I want to really see how, you know, they play this season all together. They made big adjustments to the defense as well.
They brought in Greedy Williams.
Exactly, in the draft.
Miles
Garrett's always good.
They have the team. They
have
have
a
the
good
roster.
team.
They have a good team.
They do.
You cannot tell me a team is going to go 0-16, then, you know, be short of 500, you know, by game, and all of a sudden become the New England Patriots.
I mean,
OBJ
they're not
doesn't
going to
work like
become
that.
a dynasty.
It's not going to happen overnight.
They have exactly.
I don't
It's
even think
progression.
they're going to win the division. Win the division. I
That'll be
believe the
rough.
Steelers is going to win the division because of the experience. But they can compete. They're going to make noise. Obviously, they're going to be a much better team.
Man,
They're going to be
the
more
dog pound's
interesting.
going to be barking.
You know, woof. You know, it's going to be it's going to be good. But at the same
100%.
time, it's a process. And one thing I don't like about OBJ is, and I'm a guy, when people was ready to chastise or even crucify his brother, OBJ, I was the one, you know, I believe in his talent. You know, yes, I know the brother's a diva. And when the Giants got rid of OBJ, I wasn't the biggest fan of that because I do believe Gabe and Gettleman don't know what you're doing. And if you did trade OBJ, what you did, you got to make use of it in the draft. I didn't believe the Giants made use of it of the draft. So, you know, I always vouched for OBJ. But at some point, my brother, you got to let your actions, you know, talk on the football field at the end of the day. You don't need to say nothing right now, all right? We all know the expectations for the Browns is a little bit higher, all right? But play the daggone football.
Yeah,
play the football game. Go to practice.
OBJ,
work on that. You know,
go to Cleveland
work
and
on
play
your
football.
Exactly. You know, you don't have to say all of this. At the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. By
And
you
you know
saying
what?
it doesn't make it true or doesn't make it false. It's basically
And you know what
the
it
play
does
on the
do,
football
Leo?
field.
You know what it does do? If this man personally, I believe he's gonna perform. But if he didn't perform and he was lackluster, or the Browns as a team didn't even make the playoffs next season, he's gonna look like a clown for these statements.
Exactly.
You got to keep it to yourself
And
and
speaking
think
of
about
clowns,
the organization.
I mean, I just saw the trailer for it too. I mean, that the clown. Okay, he's
Oh,
gonna be
jeez.
he's gonna be that. All right. And on top of that, man, like I said, play football. You just got traded from the Giants,
Yeah.
right? You had all this simulation about how toxic you was. So at the end of the day, you have a nice young quarterback in Baker Mayfield who's going to obviously be even better in year 2. I believe this guy is a real deal. Nothing like Johnny Manziel. I mean, he doesn't have the same issues. So at the end of the day, play football. All right? You got a good team. Obviously, the chemistry got to going first because you can't just bring players together and say, here, let's go to the promised land. No. The chemistry got to be there. Obviously, you're going to have egos. We have a lot of wide receivers. Guys going to want their touches. Jarvis Landry on the other side. He going to want the ball. So at the end of the day, you got even more receivers. And Callaway. David Njoku. All right? Guys going to want the ball. So at the end of the day, I do believe they have a quarterback in place that can give these guys the ball transparency-wise. Because Baker Mayfield could swing it all over the court. There was a lot of games where Baker Mayfield, his receivers had multiple catches. A lot of them. So at the same time, play the game, my brother, before you start making statements at the end of the day. So that's my thoughts on that. But speaking of OBJ, I don't know if you saw his Met Gala outfit. Have you ever got the chance to see
this? This man was wearing like a dress or something.
I mean, come on, my brother. I mean,
oh my Lord. I don't know what the hell he was thinking with wearing that.
And you were talking about Patriots. I mean, I think Bill Belichick would have released him for wearing that outfit. I mean, my gosh. I gotta get this outfit on display. And I gotta see this again. I mean, what you think about that, KDC? Come on.
I saw this man wearing a dress. I was like, is he like a pilgrim from like the 1400s or something? What's this man wearing right now?
He looked like one of the pilgrims, exactly. He's
got to get those pads on and start hitting the field.
Exactly, man. Come on, man. Ain't nobody gonna be scaring me on the defense wearing no daggone dress now. I'm not gonna be scared at all. So at the end of the day, I don't know which was worse, his outfit or his comments. All right. I mean,
Make that a poll.
I might make that a poll tonight. And you know what? It might be his outfit. I think that.
Yeah, I think that takes the cake.
I think that takes the cake. Even Saquon Barkley outfit, I thought was a little bit tacky, but at least it wasn't no dress, man. I mean, come on. OBJ, man, never fails to amaze me, man. He never fails to amaze the brother here in this booth named Real Lil. He never fails to amaze me. But ladies and gentlemen, we got a couple more minutes left to go in the show.
Stretch of the show.
We coming down to the home stretch. This is the fourth quarter. We in the huddle. We about to run the next play.
Quarter.
But before we get into our last play, and before we come back from a very short commercial break, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel because we drop these videos. We have a lot of videos from our previous episodes that are up there. So while we go off air here in Central New York, we have other shows. And obviously, the podcast versions, which is coming up. The Real Lil Show podcast version, that's my solo show, talking sports and pop culture. We starting that up next Friday. Possibly in the Potentially, it's not official yet, but potentially In the Huddle podcast for the summer, so we can cover free agency. Obviously, the Big Three Ice Cube League. I think that's an excellent league. Get on that, y'all. The finals, the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah.
A lot of things going on in the summer. So, baseball. So, you definitely want to subscribe to my channel.
You got to stay up
Real
in the
Lil
loop.
TV.
If you like how we sound and you like our show, subscribe because it only gets better from there.
RealLeel TV. Once again, RealLeel TV. Real Lil TV. Once again, one more time for the one time. RealLeel TV.
For the hearing impaired.
For the hearing impaired. And if you don't got YouTube, we got Instagram. It's the same name, just underscores between Real Lil and TV. So Real Lil TV. Once again, RealLeel TV on YouTube and Instagram, RealLeel_TV. Alright, this is where you're gonna get all your updates. Daily live streams, 2 radio shows, 2 podcasts, ladies and gentlemen, potentially 2 podcasts. You're gonna have it all. And when we come back in the next minute or 2, we're gonna give y'all, since the last episode of the show, we might as well give y'all our free agency predictions. We talked a lot about free agency. We're going to make those predictions when we come back in the huddle, the fourth quarter. Don't go no.
The Dragon with Kenny C and Lil.
Lean back.
This is the huddle.
Lean back. Hey,
and we are back. Lean back and listen in.
Hey, we gonna party like it's your birthday. Hey, a nice new freezer. Can I hear that beat?
Got a little instrumental for you guys playing right now. Set the mood for the next half of the huddle.
Oh, sometimes you gotta catch yourself.
You gotta watch it.
You gotta watch yourself.
You know,
right?
Shout out to the FCC listening.
Come out to the
you know,
shout out to the FCC airwaves. We know you listening. So I'm about to refrain from what I'm about to say. However, Magic Johnson has to have some of the blame because when you publicly, chastise Luke Walton, and all you hear is Luke Walton is he's gonna be fired after this year. That makes him uneasy too because he know he's gonna get the hammer like MC Hammer. I mean, my gosh, that's half of his life.
It's incredible.
On the Phillies. Are you kidding me? 13 years? I mean, what a relationship that's going to be. You basically married.
For real.
Bryce Harper and the Phillies are married, ladies and gentlemen. Love and marriage, love and marriage goes together like a horse and carriage. This I tell you, my Central New York.
What is this American
You can't
Idol out
go
here?
without the other.
My man is
We
out
out here.
here.
Ladies and gentlemen, talk to me. We all back in the huddle.
We
And
back.
it's time for our NBA free agency 2019 predictions. As we all know, this is our last segment for this radio show for this season. Like I said, it is potentially a podcast version in the works. And obviously for my solo show, the podcast version will more likely start next Friday. But nevertheless, free agency this year to me is going to be one of the best free agencies ever in the NBA.
Let's
It's
get
going to be a
into
lot
it,
of
baby.
moving parts. It's going to be a lot of fireworks. I mean, July 4th. I mean, it's 3 days after July 1st, so fireworks is it's probably going to start on July 1st. It's the fireworks, It's going to start. So, it's about time to get to it, Kenny C.
Oh, yeah.
So, starting with, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to blow out a name, for example, Tom Brady, and then you're going to say where Tom Brady goes. All right? So, we might as well start, even though Tom Brady's not a free agent, okay?
Here we go.
All right, here we go. Tobias Harris goes or stays or goes.
I'm saying he stays.
Stays with the 76ers.
Yeah, I'm saying he stays.
Wow, this is a tough one. It's a tough one. I think Tobias Harris stays with the 76ers too. I think he stays.
I think he likes what's going on there.
I think he stays. Jimmy Butler, we saw him with the second tier free agents.
Oh man, Jimmy Buckets.
Jimmy Buckets.
He's been balling with Embiid in Philly, but
He stays with the 76ers or he goes.
I feel like Jimmy Buckets could man, this is tough. I'm trying to think of a team that he could go to.
I think Jimmy Butler.
I think Harris and him like where they are.
I
This
think
team
Jimmy
has
Butler
good
leaves.
things going.
I think Jimmy Butler is starting to fit in with Embiid.
Yeah.
But I do believe also that, they're not going to be able to play all these guys.
Oh yeah, that's
They're
true.
not going to be able to play all these guys. And there's also questions of if they're going to continue with Ben Simmons and Embiid. That's a whole nother topic for another day. Might have to trade one of them because they don't, seem to fit together. But I think Jimmy Butler leaves, and it's either going to be between the Nets or the Lakers. But I'm going to play with LeBron James with the Lakers.
I can see that.
I say Jimmy Butler goes to the Lakers.
I could see that. Honestly, I'm gonna agree because that seems like a valid spot, and I think they need some more veteran talent on that team.
Kemba Walker, he stays or goes?
Kemba, man, he's been with the Hornets a while. I'm saying he goes, and if
Okay.
I'm him, then that could be a good option.
It could possibly be.
Hey, maybe, and we also have.
But I mean,
D-Lo.
we got D-Lo over there,
D-Russ.
man. I ain't moving.
I don't know.
And you got
He's a
Kyrie
free
also
agent as
talks.
well. Yeah, he's actually a free agent as well, so I don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know.
It's so hard to tell right now until it gets closer to the summer, and you got guys coming out and saying, "Oh, it might go here." You know what I mean?
I think he goes. My two choices for Kemba Walker. My two top choices are the Lakers or Dallas. I like Dallas.
Play with
Doncic and Porzingis.
Oh yeah, Porzingis is another free agent as well.
Because at the end of the day, Charlotte is not cutting it.
Nah, he's gone from there. I don't know.
you're not winning
I
over
can't
there.
exactly say where he's going, but he's not staying there. He's cardiac. Kemba's going to go into cardiac arrest if he stays with that team.
I think he goes to Dallas. I'm going to say it. Kemba Walker goes to Dallas.
And I could see him going to the Nets. I could see that. I think.
So you think they're gonna move D'Lo?
I think D'Lo will go somewhere else.
Wow, that's a bold take. That's a hot take.
It's either Kemba or Kyrie going to the Nets.
So you think they done with D'Lo?
Yeah.
If I'm the Nets, I don't like that.
I think they'll bring in another vet. Like
If
Kyrie.
I'm the Nets, I like D'Lo. I like D'Lo's potential. I like D'Lo's future. But okay, I'll take that. All right, moving on to the next free agent here. Who's the next one? Any more Middleton's? Klay Thompson.
Oh, Clay.
Klay Thompson, the Splash Brother.
These big names.
All right,
Hey.
Klay Thompson. I think he stays with the Warriors.
You
I
think so?
believe. I believe there's gonna be moving parts, and I believe that the Splash Brothers is going to be more open now. It's going to be more the Splash Brothers team after this season concludes, and I believe that they're going to give him the max contract, because if they don't give him the max contract, he's out. He's deserving of a max contract, even though he's a second-tier player.
Yeah.
So I believe he stays with the Warriors.
I feel like he's happy where he is. He wants to stay with his Splash Brother Curry. I'm saying he's staying.
You saying he's staying too?
Yeah.
All right, we need to. Let's go. Obviously, we got Chris Middleton and all these other guys. I believe they stay.
Let's get down to these big men over here.
Oh yeah, it's time for the big guys. Let's start off with Kyrie. Kyrie
Definitely not
stays
staying
or
with
goes?
Boston. He's gone from Boston.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing for me depends on two things. One, if the Nets choose to get rid of D'Lo,
That's what I'm
Will he
saying.
go there?
That's
or if the Knicks get Zion, if he wants to play in New York with the Knicks.
this is a tough one. This is a tough one. When I posted the poll, the
That's what
majority
I'm
of the
saying.
people said the Lakers, which
Nah,
I don't think that would happen.
I mean, the only reason why that could is because of LeBron. 'Cause
Yeah,
they could
but
play
he left
together,
LeBron
could play
James.
together
Why would
again.
you go back to
Yeah.
play with this guy once you left the guy? They're just
Exactly.
basically saying, you know what? I needed you.
Yeah.
You know, that's like a relationship. I moved on to go to another relationship.
This
Then
man
I
being
come back.
dramatic up in here.
Then I come back and be like, I needed you. I
Yeah.
miss you.
I think,
So
like I said, it's either the Nets or the Knicks, in my opinion. I think Kyrie wants to come to New York, baby.
And that's where it's tricky, because I don't know what the Nets going to do with D'Lo. I want D'Lo
Yeah,
there.
that's a big thing. Hey, they could make him like a bench guy, like Scary Terry.
And I don't think
Boston.
I don't think Kyrie will handle the media conglomerate around in New York on the Knicks. He can't even handle the
Yeah.
Celtics.
That's true.
So it's just a tough
I
one.
mean, I feel like wherever he goes, he's gonna have to get used to the media. This man's
I'll
a
say
crybaby about that stuff.
you know what? I'll say Knicks.
Knicks?
I'll say Knicks.
Wow.
Even though the Nets are the favorite, I'll say Knicks, because
I could see
there's a reason why I'm saying the Knicks. You're gonna find out in a couple minutes.
the Nets taking Kyrie and making D'Lo a bench player.
So
We're getting
wait,
rid of
you
him.
tried Kemba going to the Nets?
Nah, scratch that. I don't think Kemba was. I don't know where Kemba's gonna go because we haven't really seen any articles about where he's.
I
Gonna
think
go.
Kemba goes
So
to
I'm gonna
Dallas.
scratch that. I'm gonna scratch. I don't know where. I'm putting unknown.
Kemba could go to these three
undecided for
things.
Kemba.
He could stay. He could go to the LA. He could go to the Nets, obviously, or the Knicks. The Knicks is possible too, and he could go to the Dallas. I'll say Dallas, obviously. So Kyrie, he goes where?
Kyrie, Brooklyn,
Brooklyn.
Same boat.
Okay, that's logistic. I mean, that's his favorite on his list.
and he's big too, Leo. That we got left.
I'll say the Knicks, even though I believe he wants to go to the Nets. But there's a reason why I'm saying the Knicks for. You're gonna find out in a few minutes. But trust me, I like that the Nets.
So we'll end it with that one then.
No, we got a couple
about
more.
Kyrie. I'm saying
Oh yeah, with Kyrie, we ended up. All right, now who else?
it's big two.
We got the
Kawhi
big
and
two.
KD.
Kawhi and KD. I gotta make sure we not forgetting nobody like worthy. Let's go to D'Lo real quick, man. We got D'Lo stays or he goes or he gets or he leaves. I think he stays. I got him
That's
staying.
tough, man.
Obviously, you
I don't
don't have
even
him
know.
staying because you got
I
Kyrie
think
there.
he's
You
gonna
think?
go if they can have the chance to get Kyrie, they're gonna take him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I totally agree with you on that. All right, so yeah, let's get to the top tier, man. Let's keep.
Here it is.
Let's go. Kawhi Leonard. He stays at Toronto, or he goes to the Clippers or the Lakers, or the Knicks, because he's giving the Knicks a visit too. So don't discount the Knicks, even though I think it's a long shot.
All right, so I don't.
Goodbye.
I don't think he's gonna stay in the 6 in Toronto. I think he's gonna leave.
Okay.
Where he goes, nobody knows.
This guy trying to rap.
To me, I'm not really sure where I feel Kawhi should go, but I guess if I had to take maybe a guess. Man, I don't even know. It's
So-
drawing a blank for me.
Not the Lakers, not the Clippers, not the.
Actually, nah. You know what? Now
Not-
that you said that, the Clippers could be a good spot. I feel like they don't have a top guy. When you have Lou Will as your number one guy throughout the playoffs, I think they could use Kawhi. And they got money, Lil.
I think
they could
that-
get him.
I'm gonna agree with you
That
here.
could be a good option.
I see Kawhi going back home. Listen, the Raptors has done everything possibly they needed to do in order to keep Kawhi. They've surrounded him with a talented team, even though they can go cold, especially
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry sometimes.
Oh, man.
But they're the number 2 seed in the East. Have a chance. I mean, the score right now. I'm about to give y'all checked on it before we
They
end the
got
show.
run down on, right?
Yeah, I heard. That's what I heard. So I'm gonna check on it in a few minutes. But they have a chance to make it to the finals. So yes, good fan base. Good, decent fan base. They love their team. They support them. They get behind them. But at the same time, they cannot change geographic location. They can't. They can't change that. All right. They can't at all. This guy has the opportunity to play home. Obviously, Paul George was in that same boat. He stayed with OKC. He didn't go to the Lakers. But I think Kawhi has his mindset of going to LA, and I have him playing with the Lakers. I'm not the Lakers. Excuse me, the Clippers. I have him go to the Clippers like you.
And the final big man
KD
of the night
KD
is Kevin Durant.
KD.
And Lil, you know what I'm saying? If the New York, this man's about to blow the speaker out.
I mean, it's the season finale, man.
If the New York Knicks don't get the number one, or even if they do get the number one, I'm saying bring him on home to MSG. I'm saying KD is gonna either get the ring with the Warriors, or even if he doesn't get the ring, he wants to build another team. And I'm saying if he wants to be that, like Sal said from Queens, he's a guy that wants to be. Oh, it's all about me. Come to the New York Knicks because it's gonna be about you. I could see the Knicks being a move.
I have KD going to the New England Patriots.
This guy over here.
Now, let me stop. I mean, he want to join the winning team all the time, right? Why not join New England? Go win yourself another chip, KD. Now, let me stop. KD, Kevin Durant, that is. All right? Former MVP.
Yeah.
2 finals MVP.
Yes, sir.
Prolific scorer.
Okay.
The length, the height, the width.
Where's he going?
All right? He went to the Warriors a couple years ago, a 73-win team, and he got bashed. He got chastised.
There was some snake slithering.
Do you know this boy was a golden boy of the NBA? Guys loved KD before this move.
Yeah.
And they took it all back. They said, you're peasy head behind. Gonna go to the Warriors and cheat your way to winning rings.
So how
right?
does he avenge his legacy?
How did he avenge his legacy? I'll give you that answer right now. He avenges his legacy by joining the Avengers. Now let me stop. I played too much Central New York. By the way, the Avengers, we gonna get into that a little bit right after this. But anyway, KD, Kevin Durant, that is. I know y'all like, come on, man, would you really spit it? Come on, man. You know how the TV shows do it. They always go to a commercial.
break, yeah.
They always go to a commercial.
So with
so
that,
that
we'll be
being
right
said,
back.
we'll be right back. Okay. Now let me stop.
just
We ain't
give
gonna
it
do
to
it.
him,
We ain't gonna do that to y'all. Right? Because we for the people. We for the people right now. Kevin Durant will be in a Knicks uniform,
Yes, sir.
playing in MSG with Spike Lee in the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't do it no more, man. It's about time the Knicks. It's about time
This
the
man
Knicks
over here
do
is
something.
going crazy.
It's been so long. It's been so long.
gotta
ladies.
see him in
I'm
the orange
about
and
to have
blue.
a breakdown right now. It's been so long. All right, the Knicks. I've been a Knicks fan. All right, that's the first team I started watching, and it's just like I can't watch them no more. Who want to see these bums? Who want to see these bums on the court? Not me. Not me at all. I'm tired of it, all right? It's the daggone Knicks. It's the Mecca, okay? You know how whack this team is? When you got school trips going to the
This is
games.
the season finale.
I mean, you got
ladies and
school trips
gents.
going
This is
to the
season
games.
finale.
I'm tired of it, man. They selling free tickets on the street. I mean, for these bums. All right, I'm a bit. It's about time that the Knicks do something. All right, it's not take Noah to build this ark so long. Then the Knicks is taking for them to progress.
And he's gonna be rocking the blue and orange.
He's gonna be rocking the blue and
You
orange.
gotta get him.
KD?
$70 million. You better utilize that.
Listen, man. KD will go to the Knicks along with Kyrie, in my opinion, and they're gonna try to do something. I know they have different games, or they ISO and they want the ball. I know, but they're gonna make it work. Okay, they better make it work. And the Knicks, I know that's a question, but damn it, you gotta do something. You gotta do something. You wanna be starting something. Wanna be starting something.
That's the perfect way to wrap the show.
Yes, it
with
is.
a bold take like that.
He's coming.
Ladies and gents,
He's coming.
It has been a phenomenal
He's coming.
semester with the Real Lil
It's coming.
and Kenny C. And this
He's
is
coming.
The Huddle. I thank everybody for listening.
I love y'all, Central New York.
Thank you,
I love
guys.
y'all. Mwah, mwah. I love y'all.
Live
The
stream listeners,
podcast
thank you
version
very much.
will start next week, ladies and gentlemen. Potentially a podcast
Catch
in
The
the
Huddle
Huddle.
in
Come
the
on.
summer
He's
in New
coming.
York City.
He's coming. He's coming. He's coming.
Thank you very much, ladies and gents.
He's coming. Yes, he is. OKD. OKD. He's coming to New York. New York. KD's coming to New York. In New York.
Yo, somebody get this man out of here.
Concrete jungle where
come on, you
trees
come
are
with me,
made of. There's nothing you can't do. Now you're in New York. These streets will make you feel brand new. Big lights will inspire you.
All right, we gotta get out of here, man. Let these Central New Yorkers go to sleep, Lil.
He's coming. He's coming.
We're gone.